Now, Happy New Year 2022 or Happy 2022. Now, the coronavirus has accelerated workplace transition over the previous 20 months, forever transforming the working world. Now, as a new creeps up on us, it's better to take a peek at some of the trends as our employee engagement and recognition experts expect to take center stage in this panel discussion. Learn more about this as our panel chairman, Mr. Oliver Riquelman, gather thoughts, insights, and best practices from our panel members, um, Michelle Cordero Garcia, the former PMAP national president, and Fabi Carino, the country head HR of Dentsu International. Now, let us begin for the panel discussion. All right, to introduce our panel chairperson and panel members, so allow me to introduce Oliver. Who is Oliver? Oliver is a global industry expert, executive coach, and a PMAP associate and fellow in people management. He was among the top 100 Filipinos on LinkedIn. He was actually in the international recognition with the HR Leadership Award in Bangalore, India, by the Institute of Public Enterprise and Ascent, and regarded as one of the 100 global HR minds in Mumbai, India, by Times Ascent Incorporated. He also completed an executive education program in INSEAD, France main campus, and has completed an executive diploma degree management development program in Asian Institute of Management. Now, to introduce as well the panel members, we have Michelle Cordero Garcia. Now, Michelle Cordero Garcia, with more than 25 years of human resource leadership practice from various industries, locally, regionally, and globally, Michelle has seen great opportunities and potential to uplift the Philippines through people development. This drives her passion and personal vision to be a catalyst in furthering the landscape of people management practice in the country. Accorded in 2008 as Fellow in People Management by the Philippine Society of Fellows, CHRO Asia also gave her citation as one of the 2014 Global 100 Most Talented HR Leaders and as one of the 2015 Top 100 Influential HR Leaders in Asia. She also served the HR profession as the president of the Philippine People Management Association of the Philippines, or PMAP, in 2018, and today a member of PMAP's Council of Presidential Advisors. Now, next on our list is Fabi Carino. Now, Fabi Carino is a multi-awarded and top-notch HR thought leader and global training professional. She is currently the country HR director for Dentsu Aegis International and has worked with different multinational companies like Boehringer Ingelheim and of course Thomson Reuters Asia Pacific. She was also part of establishing the ABS-CBN University, where she set up the film, TV, digital, and journalism academies. Now, Fabi is a certified NLP or Neuro Linguistic Programmer Master Practitioner, soft skills coach, and speaker. She also graduated a degree in clinical psychology and guidance, of course, and counseling as well, and finished her master's in industrial organization from De La Salle University. May I call on now the panel chairperson and the panel members of the session. We have our panel chairperson, Mr. Oliver Riquelman, and as well as
Hi.
our panel members, Fabi and Michelle. Good
Hello,
afternoon, gents
Michelle.
and ladies.
Hello, Michelle.
Hey,
Hi, Fab. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to the two of you. Hello, Jess. Thank you so much for the very warm and how do you call this? Christmassy introduction. Hello, Michelle. Michelle and
yep.
Fabi, are you
Hi,
there?
Oliver.
Yeah, I can see you now.
Hi, I hope you can hear me well. I'm
Yeah, I
okay.
can hear you well. Good. Very good. Very good. What about you, Fabi? Can you hear us there? How's the signal going? We can't hear you. I think there's a button that you need to press.
All right, probably you may want to check your technicals. at the cam or mic settings. Now to prepare for this panel discussion, again, this panel discussion is the theme is effective methods of managing and engaging employees during the pandemic. So I will now leave the floor to our panel chairperson, Oliver Riquelman.
Yep.
All right. Well, I would like to begin with how are you, ladies? Well, I'm more familiar with Fabi. I'm more acquainted with Fabi. I mean, I've met Michelle a few times already, being the president of PMAP back then. And I would like to know how you ladies are doing right now. I mean, transitioning from the regular workplace scenario that we have, the sudden shift to uh, to work from home. I saw at one time Fabi started posting vacant seats in their office. You know, she visited the office; it was really really
Mhm.
empty. And same also with you, Michelle. You've been sharing some few experiences on LinkedIn. So the question now is, how are you doing, ladies? Transitioning back slowly to the kind of situation where we left off. Perhaps we could start with Fabi, then Michelle. Fabi.
All right, probably I have our PHR administrator contact Miss Fabi Carino to check with the technicals. All right,
Okay.
we
Then
can
maybe
probably
Michelle
start with
can.
Michelle.
Yeah, maybe we can start with
Yeah.
Michelle.
All right. Sige. Actually, very timely question, Oliver. Just to share with
Yes.
everybody, I'm actually in the office right now.
Mhm.
I my first day last Tuesday to be reporting back to the office, actually working after 2 years.
Wow.
It's been interesting because I was so excited because I was supposed to work on site Tuesday, Wednesday,
Uh-huh.
Thursday, Friday this week. Napagod ako nung Tuesday. Immediately after my work, when I,
Uh-huh.
went inside the car, I fell
Uh-huh.
asleep. Pagdating ko sa bahay, I didn't have dinner, tulog kaagad, napagod ako. So the following day, Wednesday, I had to stay at home again,
Mhm.
work from home, and here I am again. So sabi ko, nako, ganun yata talaga, right? Medyo nag-a-adjust yung aking body. But it's interesting, it's
Mhm.
exciting. Today, I met with my team,
Mhm.
not complete, but we have about 4 or 5 of them. They're actually outside in front of me. So nakakatawa, I miss seeing people around. I miss the interaction. I miss having lunch together, which we just
Uh-huh.
did a while ago. So that's the exciting part. But still, the office is empty because we've been working from home for the last 2 years. But we
Uh-huh.
just keep our site open for those with poor connectivity at home, just to make
Mhm.
sure that we want to provide space for our people who would like to remain productive. So we keep
Mhm.
this place safe
Mhm.
and open for them anytime that they
Mhm.
would like to come over here. Yeah.
Well, while waiting for Fabi to log back in, I
Mhm.
would like to know more about your Tuesday event. I mean, what
Mhm.
kept you tired the whole day? Is it the traffic? Is it the adjustment? What is it?
Well, number one, okay, and this is the sabi ko nga kanina, we were discussing sa team ko, sabi ko,
Uh-huh.
this is the thing that I need to learn how to manage again. I work with a global
Uh-huh.
team member. So
Uh-huh.
sometimes medyo broken time ako because I need to sometimes have meetings with our San Diego
Mhm.
office, sometimes naman with Australia, New Zealand, sometimes naman with
Mhm.
Europe. So that's three different parts of my day, right?
Mhm.
So normally, as early as 5 a.m., minsan may meetings ka na. And then followed by 6, tapos titigil yan ng
Mhm.
mga 7 or 8 for
Mhm.
Australia, New Zealand, and then balik ka agad after lunch. The difference is that now that I traveled from home to on-site, I have to manage the time I need to spend preparing myself and
Uh-huh.
traveling. So yung nag-meeting ka, nag-prepare ka, nag-travel ka, you're on-site,
Mhm.
meeting ka ulit, meet some people, siguro the excitement and all. And then that travel after,
Mm.
I was so
Yes.
surprised the traffic seems to be back to normal. Because our office is here in Taguig, BGC, and I live in
Uh-huh.
Sucat, Parañaque. So sabi ko,
Oh.
all right, that time, the
Mhm.
travel time, the preparation and everything is
Uh-huh.
something. Pero not bad. Unlike
Uh-huh.
before the
Uh-huh.
pandemic, I think that traffic now is more manageable. Pero siguro it's my body adjusting to that
Yes,
extra
correct.
activity Plus
Correct.
nawala yung ano, kasi from home, and ngayon ko lang siya na-appreciate, you get to take power naps, right?
Yes.
Especially in my time, I had to do broken time.
Mhm.
Sometimes I take 10, 15 minutes power naps, right? Or do
Uh-huh.
something just to re-energize yourself. So
Uh-huh.
medyo hindi ko yata nagawa yun ng Tuesday. So we need to, if organizations out there are
Mm.
preparing to bring their people back on site, then mukhang
Mhm.
ako learning ko doon, Oliver, is baka may transition phase that we need
Yes,
to support
correct,
our
correct,
employees and make sure that they're
correct.
physically, mentally, and emotionally ready to go back.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes. Same, I think it's going to be the same effort that we did when we transitioned from the old normal to the new normal that we had at the height of
Mhm.
ECQ. Diba? Kasi
Correct, correct.
if I remember it correctly, everybody were suffering from mental health at that time, at the height of ECQ. When you go outside
Mhm.
of the street, you don't see anybody except checkpoints and policemen in uniform, and that kind of added will add always add stress on your mental health. Eh. And
Correct.
you're right in saying, Michelle, that there should be a transition program wherein we can slowly adjust ourselves, our body, our biological clock,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
make those necessary adjustments. Kasi dati, being at home, it also came to a point where we were also saturated with what do you call this, too much accessibility that we have at home, right? I mean,
Mhm.
having kids, and then you're looking at your front lawn, looking at your
Yep.
backyard, you're wearing shorts all the time. So I think somehow somehow it also affected us. Parang naging monotone na, naging monotonous na
That's
yung
true.
ano
That's
natin,
very,
yung work
very
natin.
true.
Yeah, but at the
Yep.
same time, we also adjusted to that kind of monotony, right?
Mhm.
So I think you're right. We really need to come up with that kind of transition that will move us back to the semi old workplace that we had before.
I know, right?
Pero
Oh,
if I
tsaka
may
ano,
ask,
there's a
yeah,
lot of emotions, because again,
correct.
the emotions now is, I think some people, part of them are
Mm,
excited because they will go back on
mm,
site, they will see their colleagues, they will see their friends. Some of them are
mm,
anxious, some of them are scared, some of
mm.
them, yung anxious actually, kasi a lot of people were hired during pandemic. Maybe it's their first time
Yes.
to meeting their managers, their colleagues, how the
Yes.
office looks like. So ang daming,
Mm,
daming daming feelings. Plus, of course, even if a lot of us are now vaccinated, maganda yung
mm,
safety measures in the office, still, di ba? Some
mm,
people are still afraid of what might happen because they're now
mm,
starting to go out more and more. So, I think
mm,
tayo as HR practitioners, part of our strategy, particularly on
mm,
employee engagement, right?
mm,
Pero kasi
mm.
pag sinabi engagement, automatically, ang naisip natin, employee events, right?
Yes, correct, correct.
Uh, yes, it's true, but we have to remember events is not all the time a
Mm,
program or a happy
mm,
event. It can be something that we
uh-huh.
provide our employees, whether for
Mm,
personal development, for fun,
mm,
for life skills, or to help them just
mm,
adjust, right? And I think this
mm,
is another opportunity that we can provide very valuable support
mm.
so that we help our employees adjust
Uh-huh.
back. Hindi ko siya masabing old workplace kasi feeling ko hindi eh. It's the same office, medyo ibang itsura. I think it has evolved. It has evolved, and
Uh-huh.
again, we need to guide our employees through that process.
Well, now that you mentioned about engaging employees, and we've done lots of, not lots, but couple of
Mm.
hiring during the pandemic for the past 24
Yes.
months. So going back to that scenario, I would like to know, maybe you can share with us, how did you manage your team in terms of, kasi you are on a regional
Mm.
role, right? So meaning
Yes.
you're occupying a regional space, three different time zones at any given time. So how
Mhm.
did you manage your team in terms of, well, when you talk about managing productivity, application of
Mm.
discipline, and all others, perhaps you could share with us something like that?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
just like everybody else, 'di ba? Immediately we went virtual, 'di ba?
Uh-huh.
Zoom become our favorite place to be. Yan, so online ka kaagad, Zoom ka
Uh-huh.
kaagad. nung una medyo hindi ka comfortable, di ba? You know,
Yes, true.
it's
True.
uncomfortable to be looking at the video, establishing that good
True.
eye contact, right? But now, after 2 years, I think people are more comfortable. Mas
Yes.
nakuha natin yung rhythm of, you know, meeting online, the chats. Some of us, I think, develop the ability to use other tools and applications to simplify things. We manage to do our training, our meetings online, and sometimes even, you know, engaged other service providers who are also now starting to also provide programs online, right? So tingin ko yung unang-una talaga basic is, you know, being in here, digital, online, for our people and employees. At the same time, kasabay nun is, you know, at least for us, you know, we've started to automate more and more. Fortunately for us, we have an HR information system. So during the
Wow.
last
Okay.
few years, we managed to just evolve it, and now some of the modules are either self-service by the employees or manager self-service. So, kumbaga, dinelegate din namin yung some of the transactional activities, and we made sure that everybody is involved and engaged, right? We also automated, like for example, certificate of employment, right? And number one request yan from HR.
Yes.
Realize it's, you know, people continue to request for it, and we said, paano ba yun? Pipick upin ba? I-email ba? Papadala ba? So what we did is we made it a self-service function for our employees na anytime you need it, just go inside the system, click your COE,
Correct.
there you go. You can print it on your own, digitally signed, no need to contact HR. So maraming ganon. We also introduced a ticketing system for HR because again, maraming inquiries, maraming increase, maraming request, and with the limited number also of the team, we have to make sure that everything is queued up properly. So may mga digital automation related improvements. Ang pinaka-challenging, Oliver, is yung how do you as HR, and as leaders, how do you maintain that connection to the employees?
Yes. So.
Na may feelings, may emotions.
Oh.
Mararamdaman nila that you are sincerely with them, even if you're so far away from one another. So dito namin ginamit yung mga employee engagement. We formed committees. Like before pandemic, meron na kaming tinatawag na engagers. So these are representatives from different departments who would organize events, okay, for the office. So this group transformed, nagkaroon kami ng Pulse, which is our people who would organize our online events. Nagkaroon kami ng culture ambassadors. Because we realized one of the things also that's very important to keep nung nag-shift kami into an online environment is the culture. Yun yung pinaka-mahalaga na ayaw namin mawala. Yung culture and the passion of people towards our mission as an organization. So we made sure that people continue to talk about our values, our mission, frequently, regularly, from the leaders, from the employees, from their peers. And there are programs to support that. And all our events, even our events, kahit na fun event siya, we would always link it to a value
Yes. Correct.
organization. Kasi parang sayang di ba? Parang
Yes.
hindi na kayo nagkikita-kita. Every opportunity that will make us remember who we are as an organization and what made us love the organization that we're in, we take it. So yun yung siguro naging naging center namin, especially this year. Especially this year.
You know that now that you mentioned linking your values, the corporate values to your employee engagement activities. This is something that most of us in HR fails to do. Kasi immediately we jump into conclusion that employee engagement is coming up with events. Although it is true, but like what you said, but it's more of a platform, di ba? It's just more of a platform, but it should be something purpose-driven or purposive wherein may ina-achieve tayo, trying nating parang may objective that we're trying to achieve. So that's nice. It's nice. What about discipline? How did you go about it? I mean, I'm sure there were few issues on productivity, tapos nawawala bigla sa yeah. How did you go about it? But by the way, before you answer that, I would like to commend you for coming up with an automated self-help certificate of employment. Kasi ito yung hindi ko maintindihan sa lahat ng organizations, sa dinami-dami ng organizations, yung HR pa mismo yung ayaw magbigay, karamihan, hindi naman lahat, no? Karamihan, ayaw magbigay ng certificate of employment. What are you going to do with that? Just give it away. And I would like to commend you for doing that. Hello, Fabi. Hello,
Hi,
Fabi.
everybody.
Yeah, hi.
There you
Hello,
are.
good to have you here. But I'll get back to you after Michelle, okay?
Go ahead.
Thank you, Fab. All right, Michelle, going back, perhaps you could share with us how did you address those discipline issues,
Sige,
productivity issues? Oh,
Alam mo magkaiba ha. And again, this is just my observation, and I know that sometimes I would also talk to my colleagues in the HR community. I think 2020 versus 2021, how we handle discipline magkaiba. 2020 was the year wherein talagang people are so considerate, very patient. Kasi ano yun, di ba, that was the first year that we underwent everything, nagkakagulo, people are afraid, less knowledge, less information, etc. This year, I think we've managed already, somehow may sense of comfort kami. Diba? Alam na natin what COVID is all about. We know already how to treat it. We know already how to handle ourselves, etc. So, in the organizations, medyo parang nag-back to normal na din yung how people would handle discipline. Alright? So, this year, I noticed in our data, mas marami kaming na-issue na notice to explain this year versus last year. I think last year was really more on, sige coaching, o sige consideration, sige okay lang yun. This year, medyo tumaas. And we, in fact, we started to ask ourselves, bakit yan tumaas? What's causing it? What's driving it? Is it the right time to issue notice to explain? Kasi
yes.
right? But you know what's interesting? The feedback we're getting from our leaders is those NTEs were already, kasi tapos na yung coaching, may pag-uusap na, may considerations na, and these are already violations dun sa mga non-negotiables. Right? Because we have to admit it, right? Even if we want to be very supportive and we want to be very understanding of our employees' scenarios, minsan may mga behaviors na very critical also for the sustainability of the organization. So doon nakasentro yung discipline. Yung mga small things, small matters, I think leaders are more willing to, sige, okay lang yan, no issue. But anything related to your point, productivity, anything related to integrity, no. Alright? We call them the zero tolerance violations.
Yes.
So I think organizations now are still considerate, but they are standing firm on certain infractions against either their principles or values as an organization. Because again, this year and next year is the time that I think organizations will be truly tested. Ano ba talaga ang core ng iyong organization and what's the most important? And I think ngayon nila na-realize na it's very important for us to remain true to our core values as a company. So excellence, productivity, integrity, I think that's very common in a lot of organizations.
Yes. I do believe that too. And again, like you're right in saying that last year was a year for compassion and sympathy, and it was I took it more of like a honeymoon stage, when meeting pandemic for the first time. So you need to adjust with pandemic and then learn to love it, hate it at the same time, hate to love or love to hate it. And it's good to have that kind of phase wherein everybody had to understand that compassion is really something that we need to value in the organization as well. And thank you, Michelle, for emphasizing that. That's really something. All right, Fabi, good to have you here. It has been
Yes.
how long has it been? The last time I saw you was in 2019. We were
Yes.
in Las Vegas, I think.
Yeah, we attended the SHR and activity for HR. O, diba?
Yeah.
Parang nawala yun
Yes.
after the pandemic. So, looking forward for
Ayun
next
nga
year.
Ayun nga, I was hoping na pandemic will be short and swift, and I was looking forward for the San Diego event last year, but well, it didn't materialize. So I think it will be another shrimp event again in coming years. So Fabi, as I asked earlier, I would like to know how you are now. I mean, yun ang pinaka-importante. How are you now adjusting from the ECQ at the height of ECQ and now moving forward to the new normal? No? We call it the new normal.
Yeah, you know what? Last year when we started this, we
Mhm.
were not prepared. We don't have,
Mhm.
we're not as much as sophisticated as other companies that we have BCP and all that.
Mhm.
We had to really force ourselves to get into those things, ensuring that people will be able to work from home. In fact, we
Mhm.
even brought computers to our finance team, printers and all that for the
Mhm.
checks, and then making sure that we would be able to work efficiently. 18 months
Mhm.
further down the line, what has worked well and what we have kept is that we have moved our transition from working at the office to now agile working. We've given up our office
Mhm.
spaces, in fact, and
Mhm.
in fact, probably we used to have 5 floors and now we just only have
Mhm.
2 floors. So we made
Mhm.
sure that our adjustment is going to be something that's going to be sustainable and consistent. So we're now on the agile working
Mhm.
condition. We're still working from home at the moment, and probably until end of June,
Mhm.
that's when we will implement the agile, where people need to reserve before
Uh-huh.
coming, 'di ba? Kasi ang hirap naman kung we do it right away and we saw
Uh-huh.
naman work from home.
So today you're at home today right now. You're not
Yes,
in the office.
from
Oh,
home.
okay. But have you gone back to the office when ECQ
I don't
was lifted?
go to the office. We really
Okay.
go to the office only once a month if needed. And
Mhm.
then
Mhm.
I actually live near the office, but I just come
Okay.
by if there's anything that I need to check on. But I'm really on strict notice of work from home because
Oh,
we
okay.
had cases of having people go to work and they
Mhm.
were tested positive, and we
Mhm. Mhm.
had such chaos having all those employees tested the following week, and
Mhm.
we were shut down for 2 weeks. So
Oh, okay.
talagang work from home pa rin talaga kami.
Nako, same with Michelle. I would like to understand more. How did your organization adjust, no? Kasi sabi mo nga, we were caught by surprise. I mean, it wasn't something that we have prepared for. I'm sure it's not just you who did not prepare for the BCP. A whole lot of organizations did the same. Our BCP back then was more in preparation of the big one, eh, di ba? Lindol yung
Mm.
pinaghahandaan natin before, eh. Lindol and of course yung kudeta, baka merong ala Manila Pen ulit or mag Oakwood Mutiny. So those
Mm.
were the BCP at that time. So perhaps you could share with us how did you adjust in that sudden change at the height of ECQ last year, and in terms of ensuring performance, productivity, discipline. And that's the number one attached to poor performance kasi yun tayo parate.
I
How did you go about it, Fabi?
Yeah, I think there were 3 areas of concern
Mhm.
that we had to adjust. One is technology, that until
Mhm.
now, like what I had today, medyo lagi technology seems to be a stressful thing if we're so dependent on it. It's so useful, and yet when we're so
Uh-huh.
dependent on it, a tiniest glitch can impact a lot of things, right?
Yes.
But we had to leverage on technology using, let's say, Viber, using Teams. These are things that we use on a daily basis. Talagang hindi kami makakawala-walang tool, and we have to know how to use it. Number two, it's the new processes and procedures, because, for example, we used to meet our clients face to face. As you know, I work for an advertising company, and so most of our business is client based. We build on relationships, so a huge adjustment there, where we had to meet our clients and internal clients using technology for a while, and even collecting our
Mhm.
money from vendors had to be adjusted to in terms of processes.
Mhm.
And lastly, I think that the change became from the kind of leadership style that everybody
Mhm.
had, no? Kasi
Mhm.
before, probably we had mga micromanagers. We still do
Mhm.
have until now. Hindi naman yan mawawala. Pero I think what also changed is the leadership styles of people, and to the point, to your
Mhm.
point a while ago, that when you are in this kind of environment, people have to be more compassionate, more
Yes.
understanding, more patient, and more into listening skills.
Mhm.
Lastly, I think what I have to add here was that the added highlight of my adjustment was mental wellness. As you know,
Mhm.
Oliver, I'm very active on this even
Mhm.
before the pandemic. And when the
Mhm.
pandemic came, ang daming
Mhm.
na-depress, ang daming nawalan ng
Mhm.
jobs, may mga namatayan pa.
Mhm.
So, not only are we compassionate about how work is done, but we have to go an extra mile on how
Mhm.
to cater to the needs of our employees regarding their mental health. And
Mhm.
in my case, I think that less ako sa mga fun activities, but
Mhm.
bumawi ako as an HR leader to conduct a lot of programs on mental health all throughout these 18 months
Mhm.
until tomorrow I'm running another program. So ganon,
Mhm.
no, yung 4 adjustments namin, yung especially, so I'd like to highlight the mental health and wellness of our individuals na
Mhm.
nagbago kasi we were all isolated and, you know, by
Mhm.
nature, human beings are social, and ang
Yes,
nangyari
it's
sa
true.
atin, until now, we're still locked up. Ako, I'm
Mhm.
always locked up dahil ang daming talks the whole day, but I try to go
Mhm.
out once in a while because
Mhm.
truly, ang hirap
Mhm.
nung nag-work from home. It's not easy.
Mhm. You know, I totally agree with you that mental wellness is something that we should have from the very start, even before pandemic. In HR, should have made a priority in terms of employee engagement. Just like what you and Michelle mentioned earlier, that it's not just about. I mean, there are too many things that we need to work on in human resources, and sometimes another pandemic or pandemic that we have now is always the kickstarter in pushing us forward to those changes. Now, now that you mentioned about adjustment, and you're right, Fabi, I agree with you that we need to have those what do you call this adjustment measures or metrics that will help us slowly transition. In fact, sabi nga ni Michelle kanina, uh, kung meron tayo before na adjustment during the pandemic, adjustment moving to the work from home, maybe this time meron man tayong transition program from work from home to the workplace scenario, no? The actual na naman this time. Kasi baka nakasanayan natin lahat na mag-shorts na eh. And then the next thing we know, we'll go to the office wearing shorts and Crocs, di ba?
That's
But you
true.
know what, just to share with you as well, at the height of pandemic kasi I was in a medical center. I was in Quezon City working in a medical center. And I even have to tell everybody, especially the HR team, that even when you are working at home, you need to dress up for it, you need to dress up for it, and then find a good spot wherein you could really have that feel that you are working in the office. Parang meron kang maliit na opisina, nakaharap ka lang sa dingding, and then you have to dress up for it. When you look at the mirror, put on some makeup kasi pangit pagka kagigising mo lang, di ka pa maliligo, tapos immediately you'll start working on your task. And you're right, Fabi. No, the problem with the situation that we are in is that technology. We're stuck between a rock and something very hard. No, ganun yung situation ng IT natin sa Pilipinas in terms of bandwidth. It's a rock and something very hard. That's the situation. We cannot wiggle and squeeze in ourselves. And I wonder if the same challenges is um, observed with you, Michelle. Kasi you're in a tech company, right?
Yes.
You are in a tech company. Did you also had the same readjustment and recalibration in terms of technology? Sorry, bandwidth. In terms of bandwidth.
Oo naman, meron din because even if we're in the technology space here in the Philippines, we are
Mm,
part of the captive centers, di ba, shared service
mm.
centers. So meron din, particularly if we will consider the infrastructure in the country, right?
Oh
But I
yes.
guess we managed it by making sure that we support our employees with the necessary
Mm,
tools. So during the earlier months, talagang we deployed
mm.
dongles during the first 2, 3 months, had it
Uh-huh.
delivered in their homes just to help them manage
Mm,
that portion. Pero eventually, good thing we also have employees who are very agile kasi sila
mm,
mismo took the initiative to set up their homes with proper
mm,
connectivity and make sure that they will continue to remain delivering productivity
mm,
for the office. Fortunately for us, we can easily measure our performance kasi because we have
mm,
daily KPIs and
mm,
the tools of work
mm,
automatically feeds into our parang workforce management. So we would know, right? If we would
mm,
know if we're delivering a good job, if we're getting
mm,
feedback from customers. So we have all of those
mm,
in place. Interestingly, what we realized the last 2 years is
mm,
people are actually, they remain productive. In fact, even surpassed some of the productivity levels pre-pandemic time.
Nice.
So yun yung
Wow.
gusto naming i-sustain, right? In fact,
Correct.
the biggest concern that we have right now is what if it's now time to go back on site? And we know for a fact, because we did some surveys, that a lot of our employees would actually appreciate keeping their hybrid type of work arrangement, right? Which is also what we like, right? Ang siguro mahalaga dyan is, as organizations and as leaders, we're able to find that good balance of keeping that kind of work arrangement for our people, keeping good balance of making sure that they sustain and deliver the right performance expected, and the right balance for them to also make sure that they don't stretch out themselves too much. Kasi isa yan sa feedback of working from home. People, sometimes they forget na, tapos na yung work hours, nasa bahay na. So I can already spend time for my personal needs and my family needs, right? So may ganung mga conversations going on and happening at the moment.
Oh, wow. One of the things I remembered with what you mentioned, meron akong nakita at one time, it says that just because I'm on work from home, it doesn't mean I work after 5.
That's
Kasi
true.
may mga ako guilty rin ako niyan, kasi I assume na sometimes if I mean I'm at home, the same person is another person is probably doing the same, meaning you integrate work and life at the same time as one. But we all have other things to do as well for our personal lives. I think that is something that was not immediately understood by most leaders. I don't know if perhaps with Fabi, kasi Fabi is working right now in a advertisement, right? Advertising company, right? You're in PR, advertising, and market surveys.
More,
So how did
yeah,
your
more on
leaders adjust to that? Come again?
digital marketing,
Digital
and
marketing.
yeah.
So how did your
So
leaders adjust to that? So that kind of scenario wherein just because everybody's on work from home, it doesn't mean that they work after 5. Yung parang
yeah,
ganon.
we're kind of guilty being an advert kasi we're guilty of really having a kind of culture that's so competitive and cutthroat. And so even the prior to pandemic, that's really the nature of our culture. And imagine our employee engagement would reveal that people complain that they work during maybe after office hours, and we work until midnight sometimes because of some projects that needs to be completed. And we listen to them. We really give this as feedback to our leaders, because leaders in fact will remind them that we won't let you work, but I think it's so essential that we are individuals who has a personal choice on how we handle our work and stress. Because even if your manager tells you you're not supposed to be working after 6 p.m., but for instance, in my case, I have a personality that I want to finish what I started. No one's gonna stop me from working until late at night or early morning, which is a bad, really example. So what I really did is to talk to our managers and tell them that this is the current scenario that we have. We've been having our people live at work instead working from home, but we have to be aware of this comments, of their complaints, of their rants, because this is a cry for help. So what we did actually, we included a 2 days in a 1 month wellness day where it should be taken on a midweek. So there are 2 Wednesdays in 1 month that they are having a day off. So imagine 24 days in a year. We were giving that for free to all, from new ones to the senior ones, and that in a way has helped in terms of adjusting, so that they feel that we are also giving them time for their family. Because you notice, Oliver, kahit naman nasa bahay ka, you're not really with your family. You're all
Yes, correct. It's true.
I was just with
It's
my
true.
son here, and the whole time I was just in front of the computer. I sometimes don't eat anymore. And so the wellness days for us worked well, because it's now time to focus on the more relevant things aside from work.
So meaning those Wednesdays, they were on the clock, meaning they're still on payroll. They're not
Yeah, there's
no work, no pay. Okay.
paid day
And then you
off.
can You can do whatever you want on that Wednesday for
Yeah,
personal
and
things.
you're not allowed to email us or call
Uh-huh.
them.
Uh-huh.
So we even out of the office, we also explain to our clients that on Wednesdays, third Wednesday and second Wednesday of the month, we're not allowed to work. So anything that you need will be served on Thursdays. So that's how we
Okay.
actually had to implement it, because we really need to make it arbitrary for them to take the day off,
Mm.
to ensure that there is
Mm.
no work that comes in and out from
Mm.
their inbox also, especially our
Mm.
email.
So parang offset. It's like
Yeah,
you get to offset those long hours spent between Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday and Friday.
yeah,
Wow, that's
actually
nice.
meron din kaming offset
Mm.
na if you work too long for, let's say, minimum of 4
Mm.
hours, there are some levels that they offset, so that's in addition pa to the wellness day, we
To the
call it.
Wednesday. Okay. That's nice. That's nice. Wow. Oh, looking forward to a more best practices across the industry soon.
Yeah, hopefully we're measuring its effect, because some people still think that
uh,
they're working also on those days. So we're saying that there is no right or there is no perfect system, right? But
mm,
we're trying to make sure that we listen and engage with our employees based on what they think we could do to help them become,
mm,
productive, motivated, and consistent and disciplined, di ba?
mm.
Yun ang
Correct.
importante
Correct.
working
Correct.
from.
Correct. Michelle, do you have any similar what do you call this programs? Because kasi you're in regional space, having that regional role, so you take charge of New Zealand, and New Zealand is known a culture that is known that they don't go beyond 5 o'clock. It's going to be a murder, like it's criminal to work overtime for them. You know,
Yeah.
parang
So
murder case na yun, parang ganun sa kanila
yeah.
eh.
So we have various programs. So we have programs
Uh-huh.
that are global in nature, meaning it was
Mm.
implemented globally. And two examples I
Mm.
can share with you is a program that we call LifeWorks, and the other one is
Mm.
Virgin Pulse. So
Mm.
LifeWorks is our global mental health support program.
Mm. Mm.
So
Mm.
it's actually an online platform. If you're an employee, you will be given an account and you can
Mm.
access a lot of mental health materials, training programs, video, and even support lines. Support lines is a number that you can call
Mm.
to talk to a psychologist, a life coach, or
Mm.
even somebody more professional, depending on what you need. Now, what's
Mm.
interesting about that program is extended to 5 of your
Mm.
dependents for free. So,
Wow.
for example,
Oh.
ako, in my case, I
Mm.
get to register 5 members of
Mm.
my family. Anyone that I
Mm.
feel and I need will find
Okay.
that use very useful. And the reason why we did that is
Uh-huh.
because we realized yung mental health, the worries and
Mm.
what stress our employees are actually sometimes not themselves, but the family.
Mm.
Right?
Mm.
Diba?
Yes,
Lalo
it's
na,
true.
lalo na sa ating
It's true.
Philippines. Sometimes the employee themselves, they're okay. Pero if
Mm.
something is going on
Mm.
with their spouse, children, or best
Mm.
friend, or,
Mm.
or parents, right? They're affected, right?
Mm.
So
Mm.
we figured that it would be good to extend that program to
Mm.
dependents or relatives, because that will also help keep the
Mm.
mental health of our employees better. So it's a global
Mm.
program, got implemented in all countries in the region,
Mm.
and most especially here in the Philippines. Now, another global program that became a
Mm.
hit and right now also is a hit here in the Philippines particularly is the
Mm.
Virgin Falls, which is our wellness program.
Mm.
So inside naman that platform, it's all
Mm.
about physical wellness. So there's a
Mm.
lot
Mm.
of, kasi nga we realized that people find it difficult to do some
Mm.
exercises as
Yes.
wala silang kasama kasi they're inside the
Oh.
home. And
Oh.
usually people who are athletic are very competitive,
Mm.
diba? They want competition. They want
Mm.
to do something that will see themselves in a leaderboard or something.
Mm.
So that platform allowed them to do exercises at the same time compete with somebody online
Mm.
within our organization's network, different
Mm.
parts of the world. Right? So
Mm.
makikita mo doon, depende sa competition that you will join, whether
Mm.
recently we just had the 10,000 steps challenge, and then
Mm.
whoever is the region that's winning, we will donate
Mm.
$10,000 to a charity of
Mm.
their choosing. Minsan merong may competition which is 8 glasses of water per day for X number of
Mm.
days. And then they just record, and the team who will achieve it will get some trophies online, and they will see things in the online leaderboard. Now that program also comes with a lot of videos, articles about how to keep yourself well and better. And that program is also extended to 10 dependents naman of the employee's family. So bakit 10? Because we realized during the pandemic, the employees, they would like to stay fit. And sometimes they would like to do it with somebody else. So we figured if you're not comfortable to do it with your coworkers, then do it with your family members or friends.
Okay.
So we said,
Pero teka, Michelle, when you say dependents, are we referring to your immediate dependents or anybody in the
we did not
family
define,
or
basta we call
people
them
that you consider? Okay, people that
friends.
you consider your family.
Correct. Even
All
friends,
right.
especially sa
Yeah.
wellness. So parang enlist
Oh,
10 people that you would like in the
yeah.
system. Kasi kung dun sila comfortable, all right, let's
Mm,
exercise together, let's compete
mm,
together.
mm,
So they're in the system.
mm,
So we extended those
mm,
programs beyond the employee's
mm,
self,
mm,
right? Because
mm,
we
mm,
realize that we need support. We need support from
mm,
families, we need support from friends, and sometimes
mm,
the well-being, both
mm,
mental and that the total well-being
mm,
is greatly influenced by how people around you, especially the
mm,
most important ones, paano din yung kanilang condition.
mm.
So those are the two examples of global programs that we got implemented regionally. Now, may mga local
Okay.
programs din. The local programs are part of the engagement.
Mm,
Diba? Engagement is all about allowing people to make certain decisions so that
mm,
they remain committed to the goal, right? So,
mm,
ito, each department, depende kung ano yung isuggest ng employee, if their managers will
mm,
find it okay, they are empowered to do it. So, like for example, in the HR
mm,
team, we
mm.
started, ano to, nag-evolve eh. So, nung una, o sige ha, no meetings Friday. So, Friday parang
Okay.
quiet day, walang
Uh-huh.
meeting, pero hapon, Friday
Uh,
afternoon. And after 2 months, parang, o sige, whole day, no meetings na siya.
uh,
So, every 2 or 3 months, nag-evolve. As of
mm,
this moment, we already
mm,
have no meetings Friday.
mhm,
Every day, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. is quiet
mhm,
time. Meaning, walang magmi-meeting, walang
mhm,
mag-i-email. That's a
mhm,
heads down time. Meaning, time to do work, right? Time
mhm,
to organize your things. Because
mhm,
there was a time that we felt na nasa office ka nga, meeting ka ng meeting, emails ka ng emails, you're actually not able to do work
mhm,
because we're
mhm.
just reacting to what's coming
Yes.
into you. So we
Yes.
said, all right, we need to discipline and consciously set aside time that you can organize, think about, and actually work, right?
Mhm,
And then, hindi naman sinasabi na parang, oh, sige, 8 hours a day lang.
mhm,
But because we are in the technology space and healthcare
mhm,
as well,
mhm,
fortunately for us, part of our culture is really,
mhm,
making sure that everybody remains healthy.
mhm,
Kaya siguro dito, even the leaders, talagang we serve as examples of, oh, sige, 8 hours, diba? 8 hours.
mhm,
So, rare that you would see somebody communicating after office hours, during weekends, holidays,
mhm,
yan, bihira talaga. So, everybody really takes them seriously, they rest and they
mhm.
break. If somebody would call you on a holiday or weekend or rest day, ay emergency yun. Parang ganyan.
Yeah.
So,
So.
on a general note, I think people get to observe and respect that. And I think what's most
Mhm,
important is people feel safe not
mhm,
answering emails after work. People feel
mhm,
safe not responding to any
mhm,
work-related
mhm,
communications when it's their rest day or break. Parang sa kanila, part of the culture is, all right, okay
mhm,
lang. Yung iba kasi
mhm,
natatakot na parang, uy, nag-email si boss, kailangan sumagot.
mhm,
Uy, tumawag, kailangan, di ba? So,
mhm,
we have to also make sure that part of employee engagement is keeping a safe environment and a culture that
mhm,
employees would feel it's okay. Di ba? It's
mhm.
okay.
Tama. Kasi yung naman talagang reaction natin is actually born out of job insecurity. Eh.
Mm.
'Di ba? When people feels insecure, that's when we react to it. Kaya tayong mga bosses like Fabi, you, myself, as HR leaders, we need to encourage and motivate and encourage our peers, our business partners not to be ano ba tawag dito? Not to be too cowboy, yung bang two-gun John Wayne,
Mm.
two-gun pistol John Wayne na baril ka lang baril on the weekend and after work. Well, ladies, I'm sure we learned a lot from you, especially myself. I learned a lot from you, Michelle, and you from Fabi. This is a very interesting topic, the managing and engaging people before pandemic, during pandemic, and moving forward will never end. It's going to be our KPI. I think it's going to be our new KPI as HR leaders, because not only as HR leaders, I mean, but as well as other HR professionals as well, because this is something that we really need to spearhead. And like what Fabi said about having that mental health awareness is something that we should promote moving forward, and that should become our second nature. And thank you so much, Michelle, also by emphasizing on the use of the technology and getting rid of all those transactional things in HR that has nothing to do with HR to begin with, like employee certificate. Di ko talaga maintindihan yun. Bakit hindi makuha ka agad on the spot, di ba? Dapat it should be on the spot. I mean, you don't put anything else there. And I really kind of admire that your company and your company have extended the benefits to other identified beneficiary of all the programs that you have. No, kasi pangit nga naman kung let's say you're going to limit it only with your immediate family. Like in my case, my immediate family, I have small kids. No, I mean, I don't think they will enjoy running around in the track and field, right? They would like to run around inside the playroom. Yeah, that's something that they would love to do. No, more so pag geriatric na yung parents mo, so hindi na siguro may enjoy. Yeah, that's very nice. It's really something. It's another best practice that we can all adopt in our workplaces. All right. In closing, ladies, I would like to ask a few words from you as we close the session. Perhaps we could begin with Fabi this time. Fabi, you coming in late because of technology issue.
I think
Any
that,
closing?
what the pandemic, siguro post-pandemic, and what the pandemic has really taught us as HR leaders, they really force us to do a lot of things. And I think it's now going to be part of our system to really ensure that we have the right technology on hand that we will be able to use when working from different, let's say, parts of the Philippines, if you're located locally or located regionally. Second thing, I'd like to highlight how important it is that leaders really play a role in terms of employee engagement. That no matter whatever activities that you will be designing, I think that we need to strengthen always our leadership team, because our leaders are the ones that are really having that direct contact with our teams. So stronger leaders yield a stronger workforce. So I think I would leave it at that. And lastly, of course, as a mental health and wellness trainer, I'd really like to leave that behind. That don't wait for people to complain and have a lot of attrition. It's so important that we need to take care of our employees holistically. And I really applaud all the activities that you guys are doing in your company. I think that we have to also look into tailor fit our programs based on the needs, because that's how we will measure the effectiveness of each of these programs. So those are my parting words. Thank you so much, Oliver, for inviting me here.
Thank you, Fabi. That's really something for us to adopt and get ourselves inspired with. That's a very inspiring activity. I wish I could. I wish I could do that. I wish I have the patience to push it forward, like how you pushed it. Perhaps from Michelle.
Yeah, siguro we have to remember that nowadays the word employee engagement has been redefined. I think employee engagement nowadays is all about letting people thrive in this time of uncertainty by giving them, number one, meaningful work. We have to be able to make them realize that the work that they do is not just work, but it has actually meaning, and it can actually give bigger difference in the lives of others each time they deliver a service or a product produced by your organization. It's also all about connecting them to a greater purpose. Lalo na ngayon, di ba, people are very, I think, the good thing that this pandemic has given us is the reflection and the realization that there are better and more important things in life, right? So let's leverage on that by making sure that we help our employees realize their greater purpose and sincerely taking good care of them. and
Mm.
engaging them in, I think this is very important, honest conversations. I think
Yes,
during
that's
the
true.
pandemic, amongst leaders, one of the things that really became very, very important is the trust. Because
Mm-hmm.
they're so far away from your people and employees are so far away from their leaders, and
Mm-hmm.
therefore they operate on the basis of trust. And trust is
Mm-hmm.
actually built when there's constant, open, honest communication that happens
Mm-hmm.
between the employees and their leaders. I
Mm-hmm.
think right now, this year, especially next year, is a moment
Mm-hmm.
that will matter because how we drive, how we drive
Mm-hmm.
our evolution and how we drive all of this as
Mm-hmm.
leaders will really define how the future of work will be for our people.
Mm-hmm.
And yung engagement before kasi before pandemic, it's something that happens inside the office. But now we have
Mm-hmm.
to realize engagement now and the office now is at home. And
Mm-hmm.
therefore, engagement now is transforming into employee
Mm-hmm.
experience. Not just
Mm-hmm.
experience at work because they're working
Mm-hmm.
from home and the family is involved. It's all
Mm-hmm.
about giving them great life experience through the work that
Mm-hmm.
they do. And I hope tayo mga HR practitioners right now, we're already starting to think, how do we
Mm-hmm.
change and how do we evolve our programs, our approach, our practices,
Mm-hmm.
our mindset when it comes to changing and
Mm-hmm.
making the employee life experience
Mm-hmm.
better.
Wow. Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you for sharing that one. Like what Fabi have mentioned and you have said, we really need to work on the life experience of every employee, the work life experience. That should be our forefront KPI as the HR head or HR professionals. All right. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you for gracing this invitation and just like everyone else watching right now, I have also learned a lot from the two of you. And nice to see you again, Fabi. I hope to see you again in coming days. And Michelle, I'll catch up with you again soon. Thank
Yep,
you,
thank
and
you.
have a good afternoon. All right,
All,
Chester, I'll move the camera back to you. Thank you so much as well. Thank you.
all right. Thank you very much, Liv, Fabi, and Michelle, no, for that very wonderful discussion about this topic. Methods managing engaging employees during the pandemic. Now,